Despite being raised in a strict Christian household, a staunch one at that, I still was tainted by my curiosity for the occult. I always felt that religion only told one side of the story, and there was this massive black hole which left so many questions unanswered. And occultism, spiritualism, the New Age movement intrigued me even as a teenager. I mean, what is quantum physics? What does it mean to manifest? What is the Kabbalah? Who is Enoch? These questions kind of bounced around in my head because they weren't in a Bible. And if you try to speak about this to your local priest, they would look at you funny, if not with a hostile glare. Religion had this very intriguing way of trying to stop you from asking questions, from going down the esoteric rabbit hole. And fortunately for me, I never gave up on my curiosity because despite what we think as a society, the esoteric, the spiritual, molds our day-to-day life more so than religion does. As a child, I played this series from Sierra Software back in the 90s called Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Father. The first one was voiced by the ever-famous Tim Curry, who played Gabriel Knight, and it was placed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. New Orleans, where Tim Curry played a very southern, very handsome bookshop owner and Schattenjager, meaning those who fight the evil in the darkness. The first game centered around voodoo, its origins from Africa and how it traveled all the way to New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and the swamps. The second, which really piqued my interest, was called Gabriel Knight, The Beast Within, which was centered around werewolves. It was based in Germany, where we learned about Ludwig II, the last king of Bavaria, the fairy tale castles in the mountains of Germany, and the terrifying origins of Wagner's Der Rings, the opera of the rings, and how it all tied together. As a child, that one got me the most because I was intrigued of how the last king of Bavaria died and how he and Wagner ended up making this fairy tale kind of motif using the people and the back and the blood of Germany as their landscape. All of this had to do with the occult. Now, fast forward. I was really into Sherlock Holmes, as is most people are. But I didn't realize until much later that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Unapologetically, at that. As a person who loves to collect tarot cards and actually read the history of tarot and where it came from, a simple parlor trick game for the rich and the affluent, I wanted to kind of delve into how occultism, even though we don't know it as a society, is actually very much ingrained in our day-to-day basis. The Sherlock Holmes that you watch, which stars Benedict Cumberbatch, came from a man who was friends and also rivals with Harry Houdini, one who is the extreme rationalist versus one who was the extreme magician. In the next few series of my quote-unquote drunken audiobook practice, I actually will be quite sober as I delve into a few snippets of how the icons of our literature, our art scene, our history were actually deep occultists. I'll talk about the Kabbalah, the Book of Enoch, and other occultist kind of angles that many of us have forgotten or choose to ignore due to mainstream religion. Sounds good? Awesome. Thanks for listening. Let's have some fun with this, shall we?